Hello and welcome back to No Bullshit. Today we're talking about cryptocurrencies, and more specifically the most popular of the bunch, Bitcoin. Now many of you have probably heard this word bouncing around the internet. Some of you may even be traders and own a few Bitcoins yourselves. I've had a lot of people ask me about Bitcoin and what it's all about. So today I want to go over it a little bit, talk about Bitcoin and a couple news stories about it going around recently. And I've even got a special guest from the Trade Genius Academy joining us, Bob Kudla. Bob Kudla is the website founder, an author, and professional cryptocurrency trader who we will get to talk with real soon. But first, what is Bitcoin exactly?
Because some people have said, hey, Bitcoin is the answer to those problems. Are you a believer?
Well, Bitcoin is exciting because it shows how cheap it can be. Bitcoin is better than currency in that you don't have to be physically in the same place. And, of course, for large transactions, currency can get pretty inconvenient.
Well, to put it simply, Bitcoin is a digital currency people can trade online with their phones or computers. It's kind of like using PayPal, Western Union, or your bank's iPhone app. But instead of sending other people your government's currency, like American dollars, euros, or whatever it may be, this system trades a digital currency called Bitcoins, which effectively takes out the middleman and allows the people to trade their wealth directly to one another. This decentralized banking system became an especially appealing idea in America following the economic crisis in 2008. Faith in the government and its financial services were at an all-time low, so that's why by around 2009, Satoshi Nakamoto, an anonymous and unknown computer tech and programmer, invented Bitcoin.
Bitcoin, for those of you who don't know, is an electronic online currency that was created in 2009. It was made by someone who did it under the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto.
Interesting enough, Satoshi's true identity is still unknown to this day, which is actually pretty fitting since he's the founder of this cryptocurrency. You see, the crypto part means Bitcoins are also highly encrypted, making your transactions completely anonymous and free from interference and oversight. So, we've got decentralized digital cryptocurrency. People can trade their wealth directly to one another without middlemen like governments, banks, and other institutions like PayPal, who of course charge various fees to let you transfer your own money. No, Bitcoin lowers those processing fees to the absolute minimum and allows the people to truly be in charge of their wealth. So now that we've got Bitcoin figured out a little bit, let's talk to an expert. Bob Kudla is joining us today from TradeGeniusAcademy.com. Bob, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for coming on the show. Real excited to hear more about Bitcoin. Why don't we start a little bit about yourself, though, what you do on your website and how you're kind of connected to Bitcoin.
Yeah, so our company is TradeGeniusAcademy.com, and the best way to describe what we do is we're traders and we're educators. And we like to, think of ourselves as kind of like white hat kind of guys. What we want to do is we want to help people understand and demystify the stock market. And what we do is we have a series of training courses that cover the entire stock trading world, if you will. You can trade stocks, options, futures, and also the cryptocurrencies. So what we do is we help people, we educate them on how to trade first, and then we have trading rooms for them to be able to trade with us, guiding them, and also with other people in the trading room. So we've been doing that for quite some time. I've been trading full-time since 2006, part-time since 1991.
Cool. So we're talking to the right people. You guys got a good project going on over there. Now that you're talking about kind of making money and profits, let's go right into cryptocurrency. And you've got these courses that teach people the basics. Can you maybe just briefly tell us how people can make money with Bitcoin? How does that work a little bit?
Bitcoin is kind of like I like to refer to it, it's kind of like Kleenex. It's a euphemism because there's over 700 of these what they call cryptocurrency, or I call them non-bank coins out there in the world. Probably there's 6 or 7 that you really want to trade. The rest of them you can ignore, and you can trade them just like you trade stocks. So there are exchanges that are set up around the world in which you can go in and first of all buy the coins with the fiat or the country's currency, and then from there then you just go ahead and you can trade coins against each other or trade coins and buy and sell, go back to cash. So in that sense it's very similar to the stock market. Where it's very different and where your listeners would probably be very excited is that this is a whole new world coming up. So it's not regulated and it's not controlled by the bankers. So all the rules that they put in front of normal people to make money, so the advantages the rich and powerful, aren't there for the cryptocurrencies. So, for example, is you can start trading cryptocurrencies if you have $50 or $100. And make no mistake about this. This is the new way. This is Internet 3.0. It is the new way people are going to generate wealth because of what it represents. It's basically going to obviate the need or get around the need for the parasites that are sitting in the middle of all the transactions. You're not going to need banks. Credit card companies are going to suffer, and governments aren't going to be able to steal this money from you, nor can they counterfeit it. So in the next 10 years, you're going to see the movement away from what we've normally done in stock trading and banking over to the cryptocurrency world. So we're really at the front end of this.
Okay, so that's a good start for people wanting to figure that out. And again, they can go to your website, tradegeniusacademy.com, to find out more information. Let's go to, now I have a few questions. I asked the guys on Twitter if they had any questions about Bitcoin, and there was a few good comments, and let's go to the first one. I got one from Twitter handle Always Trump, who asked, why should I use Bitcoin instead of all other alternatives like PayPal?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, like my business, I own a couple. Is one of my businesses I use PayPal all the time, and every time I do a transaction, they take 3% away from me. So, with the Bitcoin or Litecoin or Populous or OMG, whatever the alternative digital coins out there, you're moving money in seconds, and you're moving money for pennies. So if I owed you money and you wanted me to pay you, and we both had a cryptocurrency exchange account set up, I could send you whatever I owed you, and you'd receive it within 5 minutes. And it would cost me pennies to do that. If I went through a bank, it's $25 to $50, and you'll get it the next day maybe. And then with PayPal, the same way, overnight or 2 or 3 days, and they charge 2.75%. Same with the credit card companies. So it's absolutely a cheaper way for which people to do transactions with each other. And in addition to that is you don't have anybody else in your business.
Okay, next question is from Connor Peterson. He wants to know, is it a viable source of income to have a miner? Can you explain how mining works and if it's profitable?
Yeah, I would say up until probably a year ago, it probably was because a little bit less expensive to get in. So what mining is really, it's you generate an algorithm that you basically are running through a mathematical equation that takes time, computing power, and electricity. And plus you have to have the software, you have to have the hardware, and you have to have a place to store it. So I would say up to about a year ago, I would say, yeah, mining's great. My partner's out of mining. It's very expensive. It costs over $1,100 to produce a Bitcoin. And now you're competing against, and the way Bitcoin works and the other mining work is that you compete for the right to produce that coin. So you gotta say, I can do it less expensive than somebody else.
Yeah, it seems like it's already, a lot of people have already gotten in early and started the mining. And just to be clear, tell me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like it basically, people kind of set up their computers to just run this Bitcoin software, run the algorithm, and then all these computers connect together in a big global network. And that's basically what a miner does, if I'm right.
Yeah, what a miner does is that there's only so many coins that are produced every day. And so as a miner, you're bidding on the right to produce that coin. And then once you receive that right to do that, you run your calculations. That coin gets produced, it gets stamped, and then it goes out, as you say, everywhere at once. It's called a shared ledger, meaning that if you had a node and I had a node and Connor had a node, we'd all see that coin being produced at the same time. So there's nobody that can then defraud us.
Now let's get back. We were talking about mining, and it might be a little late to get into that, but let's talk about other ways people can learn to profit from cryptocurrency. You've got a special class on your website that's about just that. It has we have a 50% off code in the description below. Can you tell us a little bit about the class and how that works?
Yeah, so what we did was, as I said, we've been trading cryptocurrencies for quite some time. And until this year, it was a very small amount of interest in it, and then it just blew up. The Great Awakening happened this spring. And so we've been getting a lot of questions, just like today, on what is Bitcoin, what is digital currency, what is crypto, will it work, is it a fraud, is it a Ponzi, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And so we decided to do was, instead of answering these questions one at a time, we created 7 courses, starting very basically, what is currency? Mm-hmm. Why do you need it? Why do we have to even create the cryptocurrencies in the first place? All the way through how to open up an exchange account, what currency should you trade, what the future is, because it's more than just speculating. This whole Bitcoin revolution, if you will, the blockchain, the shared ledger, is going to change the way in which we do business for the next 30 years. It's literally going to transform our world. So we explain the industries that are touched by that, and then we tell you what coins to go for, what coins to stay away from, and then actually how to trade it and how to build wealth.
Yeah, very nice. It sounds like you have a good community there, a good place to talk to other people interested in Bitcoin, interested in finance and making money, things like that. Let's talk about the trading room just a little bit more, because we're mentioning the price, and I think at some point you said before you can get in as low as just like $100. You can get started trading.
Yeah. So the room itself is once you buy the courses, you have access to the room, so that doesn't cost you any extra. When you open up an account in exchange, when I opened up my account, I just put $100 in, and that's how I started. I just said, I'm going to throw 100 in, and then I'm just going to build it from there, and I'm going to trade my way up. And so, if you had $100 free, you go ahead and open a Coinbase account up. You go ahead and put the money in. You buy, one of the major coins, and then you can move it over to one of the trading exchanges like Bittrex or Poloniex or Kraken, and then you're able to trade, hundreds of different coins out there, and then you can trade coins against each other. You can buy and sell. You can go to cash, and then our room's just open all the time. So, we don't trade your money. We don't take your money. We don't do any of that for you. But what we do is we just offer advice and counsel and suggestions and really leaning on our experience and wisdom.
I see. And it sounds, I know this reminds me of a little bit of stock trading I dabbled in college. And to me, this already sounds like it's much easier than the traditional stock market. There's a lot of regulations and extra fees if you get on one of those websites that trade that. Would you say Bitcoin, and pardon my pun, is the no bullshit approach to trading and investing?
Absolutely. You avoid all the bullshit that you get from the SEC and the CFTC and the Treasury Department and all the brokers that want to just collect money from you instead of helping you generate wealth. Absolutely. It's very clean and clear. Pennies to do transactions, immediate response to the trade, and nobody knows what you're doing except for you and the partner you're trading with.
Excellent. Very cool. This is all great stuff. It's great talking with you, Bob. Is there any other things you want to bring up today? Is there any specifics that we didn't touch on yet?
On the cryptocurrency space, the only thing I would really want to say to people is don't listen to the news. These people have a vested interest in keeping you inside of their game. And so what you need to do is to start to learn to think for yourself and really truly understand what's happening here. In the next 5 years, you're going to see companies like PayPal, MasterCard, Amex, the big brokerage houses, the big banks are all going to suffer tremendous loss of customers because people are going to migrate over to the cryptocurrency way of doing business, and you want to be in the front end of that. So, so my caution to you is to don't let the news scare you, and it's designed to steal your money. I never listen to the news, by the way.
You got to read between the lines on this kind of thing, because I've heard some stories about Bitcoin going both ways. It seems like it gets kind of like a mixed reputation. Some people praise it, some people say it's BS or not worth your time. And I think it sounds like you're giving it a positive review and recommending it, but the news might tell you otherwise.
Yeah, well, let me give you the example that we can end on. So last week, Jamie Dimon, the CEO of the most powerful bank in the world, called Bitcoin a fraud and a Ponzi scheme, and he would fire anybody who traded it as his company. That was on a Thursday. On Saturday, the internet discovered that J.P. Morgan Chase was the fourth largest buyer of Bitcoin in Europe in the entire world. So you want to talk about a bullshit? There's the guy. So all he was doing was trying to get the price down so that he could buy it cheaper. That's all you need to know. The banks are scared of it. They're trying to get in on it. The only way they can get on it is scare you out of your money. And what we're saying is, next 5 to 10 years, the banks are in trouble and the cryptocurrencies are ascending.
Yeah, sounds like a good idea, good progress so far. Happy to see Bitcoin doing well and being traded so high right now. So thanks again, Bob, for coming on the show. Again, everybody, check out his website, TradeGeniusAcademy.com for more information. We're going to have all the links in the description. You got that promo code to give you half off, only for our audience, just for you guys, limited time. I highly recommend you guys check out some of their introductory cryptocurrency courses, because that's where you want to go if you want to get started on this. And if you're like me at all, you're new, you're not used to investing, this is a good place to check some things out. And we're going to put those below. And thanks again, Bob, for coming on the show.
Hey, thank you for having me. Have a great day. I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Yeah, talk again soon. Thanks again. Again, you guys can check out his website, TradeGeniusAcademy.com, for more information. I highly recommend trying some of their introductory cryptocurrency courses. If you're interested in trading or investing in Bitcoin yourself, we've got all the links and some promo codes to get you guys great deals below. Well, I think that's going to about do it for our Bitcoin video here today. I hope you guys learned something. I know I did. So what are your guys' thoughts on cryptocurrency? Is Bitcoin the currency of the future? Do any of you guys have Bitcoins yourself? And do you trust this format for buying and selling things online? Comment your thoughts below, and thanks again for watching No Bullshit, and also thanks again to Bob Kudla for coming on and helping us out. Until next time, bye-bye.
I let it go back to when we played as kids, but then changed. That's the way it is. Come on, come on.
That's just the way it is. Things will never be the same.